We're at the incredibly beautiful Ken and Jeannie Porter property up here in Schuylkill County, not too far from Auburn, Pennsylvania. And this is the site of the Porter Floodplain Reclamation Project, which was funded by the Schuylkill River Restoration Fund 2 different years, I believe 2018 and 2019. I remember a number of years ago, you said, hey, I've got an idea. I want to do some test borings on this site where I think there might be a lot of coal silt and residual coal sitting around. And well, as usual, turns out you were right. You did your test borings and sure enough there was. So can you just share a little bit of the background of the project and the history of this location, what actually went on here?
Years ago, there was people that actually mined the river to get the coal out. There was over 100 dams on the Schuylkill River from Pottsville to Philadelphia. The idea was that when the coal silt dams up in the coal regions flooded during the big rain events and stuff like that, it washed coal down the river. If the barges somehow sank and they deposited coal in the river, all that material was located in the sediment that helped close the canal at one time. So in that thinking, I knew from my experience on the river that there were a number of places between Schuylkill Haven and Port Clinton where the large coal deposits remain. And the idea with the coal industry going down, if the possibility of getting this coal out wasn't done soon, it's never going to happen. And it's going to stay here forever until it washes into the river. If you get to visit the site, you can see that it actually was an impoundment, what we would call a slush dam. Rightly so, they're called dewatering basins, where when they did their coal processes to clean the coal, back at the time they worked here, they were looking for the larger coal for residential use. But they knew there was some value to the material that they were not able to use back then, and that's why they put it into these dams. And so that material was just stored here for future use if it ever came about. No, it's just the idea that, again, there was a dam here just upstream. The actual coal processing, even to this day, takes a lot of water. So everything was here. The material was in the river, and they dredged it out and separated the good stuff that they wanted to keep with what they call refuse into these impoundment basins. And so they had plenty of water. The coal material was here. All they had to do was the work. We did test borings to determine both the quality of the material that was here, if there was any carbon content for actual reuse, whether it be for burning in plants, in cogeneration plants, or carbon for filters. And also the borings also told us how much material is supposed to be here. I started visiting this site about 2010, and then I saw the floods in 2011, and it was really bad. So we started a whole number of tours coming here. We started bringing everybody we could in to see what was going on, what was happening to the river, and Kernsville Dam downstream was being full of sediment partially from this area. So we had everybody we could think of in to try to find out where we could move forward with the project. How could we get it done? And everybody would come in, look at it, nod their heads and say, yes, this is bad for the river, it's not good, we need to take care of it, and they'd walk away and forget about it. wasn't until just a couple years ago, I think it was in the Obama administration, where they came out with what they call the pilot projects. They are administered by the Office of Surface Mining, and the idea behind them is that the monies that go into a community that is distressed because of lack of mining anymore, there's money coming into the community to help boost it while they recover from those loss of jobs and stuff. So the pilot project funding came in here with the idea that we would reclaim this coal silt, get this, remove this abandoned coal from their list of priority projects and stuff. And at the same time, we had to put in an economic hook to show that there was going to be some benefit down the road after the project was finished. There's an abandoned bridge over here that actually cuts off the Schuylkill River Trail, as you know, comes up from Hamburg, from the Kernsville Dam area. It's a beautiful 6-mile trail. Gets up here to the bridge and can't go across the bridge because it needs work. And then we have another section that comes from Auburn Trailhead down to the bridge here. That's about 2 miles long. And again, it gets to the bridge and stops. Part of this project was to, again, remove the silt, but also to restore that bridge, connect those two trails, and have one interconnected trail all the way from Auburn to Port Clinton. I don't know how many people have asked me, when are we going to get it done? We want it done. I can't wait for it to be done so I can bike on it, walk on it, and stuff. So it's going to be fantastic when it's finished. Believe it or not, one of the biggest challenges was trying to negotiate with the township on navigating their roads so that we didn't mess up their roads. We originally thought that there was 90,000 cubic yards of material here. We ended up taking out 123,000 cubic yards. So that entails a lot of truck traffic across the roads and stuff. And the township was probably rightly concerned that we would beat up their roads and they would have to restore them and stuff. So probably the biggest challenge for this particular project. One of the major things that this is going to do is going to be a place for the river to naturally relieve itself at high water events. And that's how this whole project came about. There was a breach in the berm up on the southwestern corner that actually washed a lot of the material down the river. So now the way it's set up and what we have developed here is that water can do that naturally, and it won't wash sediment and eroded material down into the river. That's the big as far as water quality. What we've developed down here now is a big open meadow. We've already seen geese, turkey, deer, great blue heron, ducks. There's an incredible amount of wildlife here already, and it's just got planet. For me, believe it or not, it's a reconnection to my father and his generation, the generation before me. When I grew up as a young fella, the neighbors got together and did all the work around the neighborhood, whether it be shoveling the streets open, to shovel the snow off the streets and stuff like that, to building a playground or whatever. And that generation, I was fortunate to intermingle with them at a young age, and they were into fishing and hunting, and they instilled upon me the beauty of Schuylkill County. To me, I'm hoping that generation's looking down on me thinking, that I'm doing a good job following in their footsteps. And so that's, to me, is my reason for pushing forward on all this work.